Yeah, so let's just jump into what we've kind of accomplished here with Baseswap since we've launched. This will be the first time that I've gotten to speak with you guys. So here at Baseswap, we launched a couple months ago here now, and we were the number one native DEX, right? We had about 50 to 60 million TVL, and we're doing very, very well. And then, we had Aerodrome come and launch. We've seen Uniswap come and launch. We've seen Pancake Swap launch. And to this day, we still are the most dominant native DEX here on Base Chain. It's been a beautiful, beautiful rise. We're still steady in the 10 million, 10 to 12 million TVL range, and it's just been a spectacular, successful experience thus far, and we're looking to really build on top of that. Since we launched, we started out with just the simple Pancake Swap, Uniswap V2, the traditional 0.25% swap fee LPs that were in that, that's just the traditional standard liquidity that most of us are used to. I would say 99% of us come from the age of just using those simple 50/50 LPs. And since launch, we've transitioned to now we have our Uniswap V3 concentrated liquidity offering with the lowest swap fees on the chain. And we can see on the charts that volume is really, really picking up and doing very well. We've launched NFT Marketplace where people can buy, trade, and list their NFTs. We have launched Perpetuals Market with in partnership with Unidex. What else have we done? We've launched the token locker, so projects that are launching are able to lock their liquidity and really give their users some peace of mind and security. I think that's something that we see quite often where projects will launch and then they'll pull their liquidity. So, Baseswap being a place and home for projects to build and then being able to utilize that token locker and lock up their liquidity. And, obviously that adds to our TVL as well. We've launched the basic swap. So, as you guys know that there's lots of meme coins, there's lots of tokens that are constantly launching. And, we don't, as a reputable exchange, we don't necessarily want to tie ourselves by, just whitelisting, random coins that, don't have, that could rug at any point in time. So we offer the basic swap, which it's still a do your own research platform, but it has a little bit more wiggle room, for projects that are launching or new. And, we do some general, security measures. We'll look through, some of the contracts and things of that nature. And by no means am I saying that we testify on behalf of those tokens, but we did some due diligence and deem them as able to at least at bare minimum be on that basic swap page, and it's done very well. Done very well. We've burned $85,000 in BSX to date, so that's BSX that's taken out of circulation. And so yeah, I think that. Let me just take a look at my notes here. And we've also integrated several different cross-chain swaps or bridges. So you've got Stargate, which is very, very well known, that utilizes layer 0, that people can move their funds back and forth between chains. And then we also have integrated Squid or Axelar for cross-chain swaps as well. We partner with Orbs, where you guys can set limit and TWAP orders. So if you guys want to, set up limit orders to sell some of your ETH as it goes down, or if you want to buy ETH as it's going up, you can set up. It's really, really cool. I like playing around with it. Usually I don't do limit orders. I just buy it when I think it's a good price. And if it goes down a little bit, or goes up, I'll live with the results. But Usually when I try to buy ETH, or I'm an ETH maxi, so pretty much most of the time I'm just buying ETH. Or BSwap. Yeah, Mr. Miyagi. So we're not bringing anybody on stage right at this point in time, but yeah, our security is tried and true. So, we're directly using the Uniswap code base that's been audited, thoroughly thousands and thousands of times. And also it's a fork of Arbidex that was audited 4 different times and passed with flying colors as well. So our platform, as far as security and the trustworthiness of the code, is second to none. I hope that answers that. Yeah, it's $85,000 worth of BSX has been burned so far. So, Lexon, so our goal isn't necessarily to intimidate any of the other swaps. I think that what we've done a good job of since our launch is we've seen several different exchanges, several different dexes launch and try to what would be the word, compete with us, and necessarily, I mean, we've even had some people just come in and FUD from, various smaller dexes at this point. But I think what stands out is that all of the people that have come, they have now gone, and we still are noted as the primary dex on base chain. So I think that goes to testament of who we are as a team and a group. We focus on just being honest and integral and not trying to take cheap shots at other protocols. You guys work, we'll work, and our goal is to outwork everybody. And I think that the results will show uh, when the smoke clears, who's still standing, who's still at the top. And I would say that we've done a very good job um, with that. Aerodrome is not the first. They've got the most TVL, but Aerodrome does about mm, a fifth of our volume. So all that TVL is just pretty much wasted. Um, so I'm gonna pop over to the AMA questions section here to see some of the questions that were put up here the other day. So Rock this Mustaine asks if Baseswap gets revenue from any of the honeypots. So no. So none of the those honeypot tokens that you see are we able to get any type of revenue out of it. When they do their honeypots, the liquidity is drained pretty much immediately. I would say that the fact that they are constantly trying to use Baseswap to make those honeypot tokens and things like that, again, is a testament to us being the top dog, because that's where they think that they're going to get eyes, and that's where they think that they're going to be able to, take advantage of someone. Our team is constantly weeding through deck screener and blacklisting tokens that are popping up and are known honeypots. It is a decentralized exchange. It is a decentralized space. So anybody can go and make a token. There's nothing that we can do to prevent that. And when they're, doing it in droves and there's, hundreds of them being launched, it's really hard for us to be able to keep up with that. So we always, we encourage and even when you go to import a token on our decks, we tell you it's probably not a good idea. If it's not whitelisted, do not buy it. I can't stress that enough. If you don't see a logo on it and you have to import that contract, it is in our experience, it's been 95% of them have been honeypots. Because if somebody's launching a token on our decks, and they're reputable and they're a good actor, typically they'll open up a ticket and ask to be whitelisted. right? So if you see something being launched like Coinbase, right? Coinbase is not launching a token, right? So you shouldn't be jumping to go buy a token called Coinbase because they're not launching a token, and it definitely wouldn't just be called Coinbase in all caps, right? So a lot of that has to do with you guys, kind of educating yourself and doing your due diligence and making sure that you're not just FOMOing into, a 6,000% up token. All right. Another thing I would recommend you look at when you're looking at those tokens is, the liquidity to the volume, right? $100,000 liquidity token isn't going to do $15 million in volume. It's just not going to happen, right? We're not on Ethereum, and these are not, it's not the Hay token or, um, any of these meme tokens like that. It's not going to be real. Midnight Marauder asks, the token distribution follows a fixed supply, linear emission model coupled with burning or deflationary mechanisms to reduce overall supply over a 3.5 year period. What burning or deflationary mechanisms are team considering? If some are in place already, what are they? So at this moment in time, so our emission schedule set at about 3.5 years. We've been managing that quite well with adjusting emissions to keep APRs lucrative and enticing, but also at the same time, excuse me, uh, not just being a dump fest, right? I think that we've done a very good job with that. If you look at, the APRs that are paying on those native pools, the liquidity that they hold and the price action at this point now that we've gotten out of, the initial week or two of launch when people are just FOMOing in, it's been very, very, very stable and sustainable at this point, right? And I think that that's where what you want to look at when you're looking at emissions is finding that nice middle ground, right? Where you're paying for that TVL, but it's not just sending your token into the ground, right? And I think that we found a beautiful, beautiful sweet spot with where we're at right now. What we do as far as trying to burn, the team's done some buyback and burns to this point. Like I said, we have burned up to $85,000 worth to this point. The deposit fees that come in from users staking into the single stakers, a portion of that will be used to basically just burn and take it directly out of circulation. I'm not going to say that we're going to use 100% of it for that because we may use some deposit fees for giveaways and some of these fun games that you guys like playing on a weekly basis or, for Zeely or something like that. The new coder asks, what is the long-term vision of Baseswap? Is it to compete with top dexes across chains like Uni, Sushi, Pancake, or GMX in the coming days? So yes, so the long-term vision for Baseswap, as I said, is to basically create this all-in-one infrastructure or ecosystem where you guys can come and do everything that you want to do. If you want to trade perps, you're able to trade perps. If you guys want to buy NFTs, you can buy NFTs. You want to buy tokens, you can buy tokens. So what we've done thus far, I think, is a very good job at basically creating that all-in-one platform where users can come and do everything that they want to do. So the goal, as he kind of hinted at here, is to be able to take this offering and offer it across a wide variety of chains, right? I don't know if any of you guys have noticed some of the little bit of alpha that's in the network selector up at the top right of the website, but we've got scroll there, right? So the plan is to essentially launch our Uniswap, not launch new tokens or anything like that. The plan is to be able to launch our concentrated liquidity offerings and possibly the V2 for smaller protocols across a wide variety of chains, and then use fees that are obtained from those swap fees. So, if Scroll is doing, $10 million in volume and, let's say it generates $5,000 in fees, those fees would then be reattributed to BSwap and BSX, whether that would be by boosting the stakers, or if we did kind of a, drip where we buy back and burn at a steady pace. Once a week we do a buy back and burn from an accumulation of the fees across different chains. So that's really the long-term goal and vision. I think that what we want to focus on at this point, even though we've hinted at, being able to go cross-chain, is to be the best that we can possibly be on base chain without getting ahead of ourselves and trying to go somewhere else too fast. Right. Right now, like I said, that we, since launch, have been in the limelight, and then somebody else launches and the limelight kind of got put on them. And there's a lot of people that were competing for that market share or that attention. And we've done a beautiful job of remaining that center point after all of the hype, and all these people are running to go try to launch a DEX on base. We're still here as the most notable in our opinion, and doing the most volume outside of Uniswap, who did like 15 million in wrapped ETH USDC yesterday, which was crazy. But so our focus now is to really focus on getting those concentrated liquidity pools, the liquidity deepened in those, so that we can sustain more volume. And the more volume we get, the more fees that can be put back into BSX and BSwap. And the goal would be to where the fees that are being generated actually outpace the emissions, to where the token's just going up, right? And it's not inflationary anymore, it's deflationary. So that's the goal. And I think that we're very close to getting there. So each day that goes by, we're rolling out more integrations, and the liquidity in those concentrated liquidity pools is really getting deep. And you can look on Dex Screener and see the volume just really starting to crank up. So I see it speeding up much faster. Let's see. So Europe Akage asked, why not create a roadmap for Baseswap? It helps create structure, and one can tell from a glance what to expect in the nearest future. So having a formal roadmap is something that we will definitely, having a roadmap and having some nice graphics and the documentation is something that we definitely will create and do. The reason that we did not have one up to this point, because from what you guys have heard, we were cranking out these different products, right? We could spend a week making a roadmap when we just kept launching everything, right? And that was really what we wanted to do, is as fast as we could get that all in one package up and out there, right? And so we don't need a roadmap that says, in 2 weeks we're going to do an NFT marketplace, or Q4 we're going to do perps or something like that, because we just went out and we did it. I think that that's something that a lot of teams use to, no offense, but I think a lot of times teams use roadmaps as an excuse as to why they're not putting in the work right now. And so versus saying like, we'll get to it eventually, we just went out and did it. And I think that's a testament to the team, and how seriously we take this this product. So we will get a roadmap out. There's not going to be, in my opinion, and I'm not saying that we're done working, but there isn't going to be this huge checklist of things that need to be done in the future, right? At this point in time, it's refining this product to be the best product that it can be, whether that's UI upgrades, data cleanup to where the site loads faster, things of that nature. But when it at the core point of it, we're not going to just make up a bunch of stuff and say that we're going to go out and do this and that. We want to do what we've done very well and continue to build on top of that. Mhm. Uh, Lexon asked how I feel about upcoming DeFi products like liquid staking. I think that narrative is really catching a lot of steam. Personally, I like stake frax ETH, and I think that there's definitely a space where that's going to be extremely utilized. And so Baseswap is definitely going to look to incorporate as more LSDs are implemented. There's not very many on base chain at the moment. I think the only one would be um, might be TBTC. Um, but as they are made available, as those products launch on base chain, we definitely will look to provide liquidity for those. Definitely incorporate them into the ecosystem, and we really want to support that because it's definitely that narrative and that product line is definitely something that's going to be uh, very big in the future, and as a lot of us can see, it's gaining a lot of traction now. So we definitely want to be ahead of that curve and definitely be a supporter in that space as well. Can you provide insights into base swap strategies for managing and mitigating potential risks associated with leverage trading on the platform? So we don't implement any type of uh, if you're leverage trading, that's kind of on you, right? Like the risk of being liquidated, right? Like if you're um, going to a platform and you're opening up a 50x short, um, you know what you're doing and you know that you could definitely get wrecked. There's nothing that we can do. We're not a leverage trading centralized platform like GMX or Vila or something like that. But that's kind of a do your own research and do your own diligence thing. If you're going to get involved in leverage trading, you definitely need to know what you're doing. You should probably talk to some people that have a little bit of knowledge, and only risk what you're willing to lose. If you're going to open up a trade, fully expect to lose every dollar of that trade. Um, Very possible. Share a moment or decision in the development of base swap that you consider particularly pivotal or memorable, and why? In the face of challenges and obstacles, what kept you and your team motivated and determined to push forward? Building and growing base swap. If I could share a message with the community. All right, so let me just answer the first one. So a moment or decision. Sorry, my son's screaming. Moment or decision in the development of base swap that I would consider particularly pivotal or memorable. I would say that us pivoting to the two token model was particularly important. I think that implementing the escrowed version of BSX and being able to reward users without it just being a liquid token constantly dumped into the ground was something that was very important. I think, and reducing B swap emissions to just basically facilitate the liquidity for the BSX token was also a very good decision in our opinion as well. In the face of challenges and obstacles, what kept you and your team motivated and determined to push forward in building and growing Baseswap? So, I'll talk about one challenge or obstacle. A lot of you guys may know that very early on we had a beautiful run up, right? We launched the token at 90 cents. It was going 10x. And one user, he had been compounding and compounding and compounding and had about a $1 million liquidity position that he dumped all in one fell swoop. And so we had to work very hard to uh, basically re recreate that confidence for a normal user, right? Like it's not often that somebody gets to the point where they've got such a big position and can create such a big wave um, on a token like that. And so, what motivates us is we're investors, right? Like most of you guys that are here know me, know our team, know Jump from for many years now, and uh, what we're doing and what we're building is to make you guys money, right? Like we take that very seriously. I can't stand to see somebody lose money on something that I'm building or a part of, and so our goal is to really create like a safe haven to where people can come and they can invest and they can sleep well at night knowing that we're going to work our asses off. And so that's what we've tried to really focus on and really do. I consider all of you guys my friends, people I care about. I've spent years with a lot of these guys, and at the end of the day, like we're working for you guys, and we care. It's not just looked at as a quick payday or anything like that. Like we actually care. So we're going to work as hard as we can because we don't just care about you guys. We care about your money, right? Like I didn't have when I first got into space, the people I was investing in, they could care less about my money. They just wanted it. And so we're trying to create an ecosystem where the people that you're investing in, you're not just investing in Baseswap, you're investing in me, you're investing in Jump, you're investing in the mods, you're investing in each other. And so we're trying to really facilitate and create that feeling. That's the way I can put it. See if there's any questions here in the AMA stage itself. I don't what's the difference between basic swap and Area 51? Uh I'm not going to talk about somebody else, but basic swaps on the number one native DEX on base chain. That's my response to that. So I'm going to stop on the questions for a moment. So today, very, very exciting. You guys saw the announcements. We are now going to be launching with our partners DeFi Edge, automated, managed, concentrated liquidity strategies, right? So you guys are going to be able to, some of you guys that are playing around with the concentrated liquidity don't really know how to set ranges, aren't very good with set ranges. You're going to be able to deposit into these strategies and then deposit into a farm the same way that you would a traditional or standard V2LP, right? So you'll just be able to claim your rewards and farm, and you'll also still be generating fees, right? So it'll be CB ETH, wrapped ETH USDC, and wrapped ETH USDBC. Shortly after this AMA, those are going to go live. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to there'll be links that we'll post for you to go to the strategies themselves and deposit. We are working on having all of that deposit and withdrawal UI and modals on our site. It was a little glitchy while we were trying to roll it out. So instead of putting it out there and people having issues, right now we're just directing you directly to the DeFi Edge site for you to deposit into those D shares and into those managed strategies. Now, the way that DeFi Edge works, it's a little different than Gamma, which is another automated concentrated liquidity provider. The way DeFi Edge is working is it does have a bot that automatically keeps things in ranges, but it also sets up limit buy and sell orders based off of historical data, right? There's a lot of data, a lot of research that's put into it. So you're not going to be getting hit with uh, impermanent loss from it just constantly rebalancing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? It doesn't work that way. So when you look at a strategy, and you guys will be able to see it all on DeFi Edge site, you can click ranges, right? And the liquidity is actually deployed in three different sets of ranges, right? So a portion of liquidity may be deployed between 1,200 ETH and 2,500 ETH. And then 30% of the liquidity may be deployed between 1,500 ETH and 1,900 ETH. And then there may be 10% that's deployed in a very, very small range. But it gives the ability for that liquidity to move between different price points and different historical reference points without having to swap back and forth, and giving users that impermanent loss that none of us really like. So uh, that's really exciting. We'll have those up shortly after this AMA. We're going to be wrapping this up here shortly. It's been about 45 minutes of me talking, and my son's getting a little anxious out there. But yeah. Um, you'll be able what I'm excited about with these uh automated ranges is, like I said, some people are not good, or kind of screw themselves up trying to do the managed positions. You'll have the option to do both. I definitely encourage some of you guys to try out both. They're both are going to be lucrative, both are going to be earning good yield. From a protocol standpoint, having everyone in range, because I think Sid, he had like $100,000 worth of ETH out of range, right? Like that's not contributing anything when it's out of range, right? So having a nice sized amount of liquidity always in range is going to really really lead to some increased volume, some sustained volume for the platform itself, and in turn is going to lead to some really, really good fees and money flowing back into the native tokens. Um, so, I for one, during this ETH run, kind of wish I was in a managed strategy. I went out of range a couple times, and so I missed out on some of those gains. Jump did as well. So just having the option is great. I like the manual strategies as well. But I'm really excited to get into these automated ones. So I definitely encourage you guys to check it out. The APRs are going to be very nice. And in regards to the way that you would receive your fees, right? If you're in a manual position now, you go and you claim your fees. From the swaps, right? You'll claim ETH and you'll claim your USDC or whatever. The way that the DeFi Edge strategies work, it actually compounds your fees into the D share, right? So if you have one D share and it's worth $100, as the fees accrue in your position, that D share is going to go to 105, 110, 115. And so when you withdraw it, you're going to be withdrawing a larger value than what you had originally deposited, right? So you'll be able to just deposit into those strategies, deposit into the farms, and you'll be able to, claim your normal farm rewards, your BSX and your XBSX like you normally would. And then if you decide to exit your position, you're going to exit with a nice increase of that bag all on its own. So very, very cool. Very, very excited for that. Like I said, we're going to be rolling that out here in the next probably 15 to 20 minutes. So definitely check it out. All right. So guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap that up here. Really appreciate you guys being here. One thing I can say is, no matter what we do, uh, this is your baby too, right? If you guys like the decks, you guys are happy with the product offerings, let people know, right? That there is nothing better than word of mouth. I encourage each and every one of you to try to let somebody know about Baseswap. If you haven't heard about it, talk about how great things are. If you feel that way, if you think that there's something that we can do better, we have suggestions tabs. We've taken quite a few different suggestions from community members and implemented them on the site. So we definitely encourage that. Our goal here is to be the best that we can be, and definitely continue to be the number one native DEX here on Base Chain. We see a very, very bright future going forward, and we're happy that you guys are all a part of that journey. Um, be safe. If you guys go dabble elsewhere, make sure you do your research. Make sure you stay safe. Um, don't buy honeypots. If you're importing a token, it's probably not a good idea. I can't stress that enough. I want you guys to keep that money that you worked hard for, and not give it to, those scumbags that are just trying to take it from you. If you have any questions, you can always feel free to DM me. You can ping me in chat. We stay as active as we possibly can and let you guys know that we're always here. I peek around at some other projects and it doesn't look like there's anybody there. But as many of you guys know, I'm here every day, all day, and so is the rest of the team. So thank you guys for coming. Appreciate and love every one of you. Hope you guys have a blessed rest of your week, and let's go bull market. Come on, baby. Let's get some good money. I'll catch up with you guys soon.